The greatest Goosebumps episode to ever hit the television waves. If Human Centipede is the reason why aliens are not visiting us at the moment, this episode is the reason why they're thinking, I didn't know Plug was chill like that. They want to come back just for this episode. They respect the fact that this was made in the parallel timelines where people think that the Haunted Mask 2 book is better than the Haunted Mask 1 book. The OG. Those anomalies are, as BD29 would state, well, BD2099 would state, that must be under the impression of the episode version. Because the book was good, but it was kind of like a disappointing sequel a little bit to Haunted Mask 1, as opposed to the episode, which is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. Better than any Victoria Justice nude scene I've seen in a movie. Better than Portillo's chocolate eclair cake. While watching those nudes, you get my point. This is one of the greatest things to ever hit the airways. I'm happy that this was made, and it is a brilliant example of the writers and producers of the Goosebumps TV show having a lot more talent and deserving a lot more credit than the fandom gives them. All right, this is a wonderful episode. It is a much better, to me, storyline and sequel to Haunted Mask than the book that R.L. Stine made. And it just proves that, guys, this is 100% the best episode in the OG Goosebumps TV show. To me, and I'm sure to a lot of you guys out there. So let's talk about it. If you can't tell what we're talking about, we're, of course, talking about the Teacher's Pet episode. No, that's not why we're here, people. I'm not rocking the suit for Teacher's Pet. No, sir. Not no human head on a fly body. No, ma'am. That's not it. We're here to talk about Haunted Mask 2's episode, because the Haunted Mask 2 episode is such a fantastic sequel to the Haunted Mask 1 book. And obviously the episode that was made, one of the debut most iconic kids horror episodes of all time. The Haunted Mask 2 is, in my opinion, a better and superior story to the Haunted Mask 2 book. The episode is so great. It manages to combine storylines better. It manages to have one of the best villains in all of Goosebumps. It manages to demonstrate the journey that Steve goes through at a much in-depth and higher level. And it factors in Carly Beth as a more important role. It unites two storylines of two very different characters all together in a well-done way. And that's why the Haunted Mask 2 episode, I'm going to spoil it early on. This episode is the only Goosebumps episode in the TV show to get a perfect score, a flawless victory. 10 out of 10, stone cold stunner out of me. This is a perfect episode. A perfect kids horror episode. A perfect Goosebumps episode, a perfect Goosebumps story, the Haunted Mask 2. We gonna curse. It's fucking wonderful, man. It's fucking fantastic. And you all should watch it if you've not done so already, especially on Halloween, because that's the perfect time to do so. So what's the Haunted Mask 2 episode about for those who may have forgotten? Maybe it's been a while or you've not watched it. So the story begins with Carly Beth and her friend. They're basically walking around town, and next thing you know, what happens is Steve and Chuck, which are notorious bullies who tormented and harassed Carly Beth in the previous story, in the previous episode, they basically try to pull another prank on her, try to scare her, try to pull a stunt on her. But Carly Beth has evolved as a character. She doesn't get as scared easily. She's no longer a scaredy cat. No, she's now a brave, kind of more mature teacher figure in the Haunted Mask story. And when they try to scare her, she's not fazed, and they get super disappointed. They realize that Carly Beth is hardly recognizable. She's not the same girl that they knew before and used to pick on. She's no longer the victim. And Steve basically connects to her or tries to connect to her and tells her about the fact that he wants to basically live out this Halloween to its fullest because soon him and Steve are going to be getting too, well, Steve and Chuck are going to be getting too old to basically do trick-or-treating anymore, to enjoy Halloween, and they kind of just want to embrace this last year. They want to embrace the moment. Halloween's coming up in a few days. They have to live it up, and they have to make it the scariest Halloween ever. So he decides, you know what, Carly Beth, that mask that you wore last Halloween was super terrifying. I mean, it scared me, it scared Chuck, it scared all the kids around the block. We seriously thought it was a part of your skin. It looked so freaky. How can we get our hands on those type of masks? Because we want to enjoy Halloween and be just as scary as you were. And Carly Beth right away warns him, no, no, no. That mask was haunted. It was a sign of evil. It brought nothing but bad things, and it nearly ruined my life forever. Do not and absolutely stay away from anything involving that mask and, you know, its presence. And, you know, we find out, obviously, you know, she buried it in the graveyard. That's where she's keeping it away. However, as they depart, you know, the friend group departs, you find out that Halloween invokes some energy and some spirit within the mask. And the mask is not in retirement. In fact, it's coming out of retirement very soon. The energy is feeding it. It's on the prowl, and it wants to destroy Carly Beth's sign of love and basically make sure that there's no force on earth that can stop it from conducting its evil presence and forces. So as the haunted mask is on the prowl, it heads back to the OG mask store, where we see the shopkeeper is actually burning the unloved ones. He's actually throwing them in the furnace, trying to burn and destroy them because he realizes how evil and nasty and terrifying they are. And he's about to grab this old man looking mask and throw it in there. However, the original haunted mask shows up. It's levitating. It's threatening him. Do not destroy. You know, let the evil take over. Let me show off my power. And then it basically latches on to the shopkeeper. And from there on, you get one of the best Goosebumps villains to ever hit the ring. And that is the Mike Tyson 1-2 stunner. It is none other than the shopkeeper possessed by Carly Beth's haunted mask. The shopkeeper possessed by this haunted mask is the most terrifying, imposing, and one of the most threatening and powerful figures in Goosebumps. And we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But this new haunted mask powered shopkeeper is on the prowl. He goes around Steve and Chuck's school while they're outside, and they see this guy wearing the mask, and right away they're very intrigued because they wanted Carly Beth's mask. They see him, they try to stop him and wave him over to find out where he got it. And as they're chasing after him, they end back at the old shopkeeper's place, and Steve and Chuck head down into the basement. Chuck gets very freaked out and he wants to leave. He basically bails on Steve. And Steve then sees the old man mask lying there because the shopkeeper did not destroy it before the haunted mask came and took him. So Steve then grabs the old man mask. It looks super disgusting, super freaky, looks scary enough to use this Halloween, shoves it in, and then takes it away and steals it. And when he gets back home, he tries it on, and you get these very intense, subtle moments where you're not sure what's going to happen to him, whether it's going to stick. We know about the 3 times the charm, you know, it gets stuck on you. So that tension starts building up as Steve is trying on this mask, you know, feeling some weird things about it. And you see spiders crawling out of it when he puts it down. So it's very disgusting, a lot more viscerally, you know, kind of nasty and gross out compared to the original haunted mask, which was just meant to be more so scary. And as Steve takes his mask and goes on Halloween, you know, he meets up with Chuck. You know, basically Chuck explains the whole situation, kind of hints it towards Carly Beth and her friend. I think her name is Catherine. I forget. But basically, you know, Chuck runs into Steve, and Steve basically scares the living daylights out of him. He has his old man mask on, and his voice starts changing. It looks like it's literally a part of his skin. And as, you know, Steve is kind of acting up and super excited, he starts losing energy. He starts slowly becoming more and more tired. He starts feeling like an actual old man, and his body condition is actually deteriorating the longer he keeps on the mask. and then he realizes that it starts sticking to his skin and he cannot take it off. And unlike the haunted mask, which possessed Carly Beth, which now possesses a shopkeeper, which was empowering them, giving them this animalistic, monster-like empowerment, this old man mask is actually ruining Steve's life by deteriorating his health. It's actually taking away his life force, making him to an old man. As he's prowling around, you see him struggling. He's panting, sweating, tired. He's really pathetic and in a very vulnerable state. And even kids and people start feeling bad for him and try helping him. But then they see how terrifying he looks and the spiders crawling across his face, and they all run away. And he's basically left alone just to suffer. And it's extremely morbid, extremely dark, and disturbing to see Steve go through something like this. Even though he's a bully, even though he's kind of like a bad character, you really start to sympathize with him, and it starts building up that whole redemption arc towards his character. And you start seeing his hands. His hands start transforming. They become into these old, wrinkly, disgusting old man hands. And he realizes something's really bad. This is permanently changing me. I feel the spiders crawling through my hair, crawling across my face. This is disgusting. And I'm slowly dying as I'm wearing it. I might not last till the end of this Halloween night. And he ends up running into a graveyard. He falls over, and then the stranger comes up, and he thinks the stranger's going to help him until he looks up and sees that it's the haunted mask's shopkeeper. And he's very imposing, threatens him, says that, Steve, if you don't do what I say, you're going to be stuck like this. And you know what? If you don't listen to what I do, I can make your life a hell of a lot worse. I can make you suffer 10 times more. And he puts Steve into the ultimate blackmail and threatening situation. And Steve has to betray some people and do some things in order to potentially save himself. But is this the right decision? Will it eventually lead to everybody's lives being jeopardized? And what can this poor kid do just because he, in this case, not bit off, but wore more than he could chew, or wore more than he could handle this Halloween night? And that's basically the story of the Haunted Mask 2 episode, without giving too much away so you get spoiled. Positives about this episode is everything. Listen, man, seeing Carly Beth as a more adult and mature figure as opposed to the scaredy cat that she was in the first episode and story, that's that character development that you like to see. Carly Beth is advancing, she's evolving, she's becoming more mature, she's growing up, that kind of coming of age thing. And it makes you actually feel like she is a really fleshed out character. The fact that she has this character arc where she goes from the victim to now the hero, the savior, the teacher figure, that's genuine improvement. You have Steve. Steve in the episode is suffering a lot more than he did in the book. In the book, you get a few scenes and some hints that his energy is draining. But in the episode, you actually see him suffering, staggering, weak, tired, sweating. You see people sympathize for him, thinking he's this old man who can't help himself. And you literally see him slowly dying on screen. As dark as that sounds, you got spiders crawling over his bulging, warty skin, his hands becoming old and crusty. He needs that cocoa shea butter lotion. It ain't gonna save him now because he applied it too late. But if he had it, he'd have been good. That's what's happening to him. You have the fact that Carly Beth and, Chuck, they're trying to figure out something, how to help him, maybe see if they can fix all this. And you have Steve being put into an ultimatum by the most intimidating goddamn fucking villain in Goosebumps, which is the haunted mask shopkeeper, bro. This guy is intimidating. He threatens people. He threatens Steve, saying, if you don't help me, I'm going to make everything worse, all right? How would you feel of thousands of spiders crawling under your skin, pus bursting out of your eyes, and your bones becoming soft meal that the worms can feed on at the bottom of this graveyard? I'm like, oh, fuck. And then he starts manipulating. He starts manipulating Steve's body. And Steve starts feeling these spiders crawling through his skin, and he feels his body being torn apart. I'm like, God damn. This man is really about that life. He's got the Black Air Forces equipped. I thought Carl from Trilogy had the Black Air Forces, but he at least had the swag, he had the swag to him. He had the charisma. This shopkeeper ain't got no swag. He ain't got no drip. And he got the drip, but he ain't got no, comedic elements. He's all business. He stands on business. at all points and periods. I mean, this man is literally threatening children's lives. He's ready to kill some kids. He said, man, fuck these kids. We killing them on Halloween night. And he's doing everything he can in his power to manipulate people, blackmail Steve, and get what he needs to destroy Carly Beth's head, you know, the pillar of love, so that way he would be able to thrive and unleash the evil upon the town without any restraint or restrictions from Carly. I mean, this is a very intense, high-stakes story, a lot of elements to it, a lot of plot depth. I mean, this is really a fantastic episode from the, you know, beginning to the end. And in the end, you kind of see the convergence, you see people uniting, you see the conclusion to some lore, and then you even get possible hits that things may not be done. You know, this might be a every Halloween kind of thing, and this episode is just the perfect package for Halloween. It's terrifying, it's genuinely creepy, it has a villain who poses real stakes. Like, this man, the shopkeeper with the haunted mask, is like a motherfucking anime villain. Like, I'm talking like Madara Uchiha, I'm talking Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm talking about Doflamingo Katakuri, I'm talking about diabolical level manga anime villainry going on with this man. This man's on a different level of being a villain, and it's truly horrifying. And seeing Steve suffer so much, you really feel for the kid. You really want him to kind of succeed in the situation. And at the same time, you want Carly Beth and him to work together to kind of basically fix everything. But they're put at odds. It's such a difficult situation. And it makes that ending more impactful. And it makes the twist ending that little cherry on the beautiful Sunday of Halloween. Again, 10 out of 10, a perfect episode. I recommend each and every single one of you watch it, rewatches it. This has always been a 10 out of 10, even though this is my 4th time rewatching the episode. And yeah, again, man, the perfect Goosebumps episode, the best Goosebumps episode out there to air. And you let me know down below. Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree? Is this your favorite episode? Is there another episode you prefer? And which do you like more? Do you like the Haunted Mask 2 episode? Do you like the book? Me personally, I'm leaning towards the episode. Not drastically more, but quite a bit it's ahead of the book. The book is still good, but this one is just great. It is just a couple tiers above just good. And yeah, man, fantastic job to the writers and producers of the old Goosebumps show. Dan Angel, Billy Brown, you guys did a fantastic job. Probably some others that I'm forgetting. And yeah, beautiful, 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 beautiful. If you guys enjoyed this review, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below. It's free. Lets me know you guys enjoy the videos, and it means a lot to me. We're almost at 200 subscribers, so if we could pass 200 subscribers, I'm going to do a little bit of a celebration video regarding that. And yeah, I have other content in my channel as well. I cover all types of horror at the Horror Tavern. I have adult horror, young adult, YA horror. I have TV shows I cover, movies I cover, books I cover, short stories, everything far in between. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys check out my other content. And stay cool, stay classy. And I'm going to see y'all the next time. Deuces. Putting on these suits, man, I swear to God, bro, I spent all day in a suit, put the suit back on, but it's worth it because my boy, the shopkeeper, was rocking that dripped up suit, and I'm trying to be like my guy, even though he do need to start using, you know, Crest dental strips more. I mean, seriously, man, those are some jagged ass teeth. I mean, my boy, we can hook you up on Invisalign, all right? You worried about Carly Beth, you worried about a sign of love. If I give you the Invisalign, it's gonna be a sign of love, all right? Do not crumble, do not fold, and smile brightly.